today. At
Thank you,
home.
madam. Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, same to you.
Yeah. So I think last week when we connected, we just connected for a couple of days and we discussed. Mostly it was demo sessions where I made you understand about the course details. And in the last week we installed Python, right? Anaconda Python and gone through Jupyter Notebook tutorial. So if anybody joined today newly, if today is your first class, let me tell you one thing, you have not missed anything. From today onwards, we're going to start with the content. Only thing that you need to do is you need to install Anaconda Python, right? Jupyter Notebook tutorial you need to go through and Anaconda Python you need to install. There are links, YouTube links, I can forward it after the class in the chat window. You can go to that YouTube link and then just go to the videos and whatever I have done, you just need to repeat it. If you have already done that, then we are right. All of you have Anaconda installed. Just kind of quick question. Any problem with Jupyter and Anaconda? Everything is done, like all good?
Yes, madam. Madam, when is going to start advanced classes, madam?
Advanced classes today, there was a confusion. So I thought it is planned at 8 and then actually it is planned at 6:30. So I missed it because I was I was thinking it is 8 a.m. morning. So there was a confusion and also today Holi is there. So lot of confusion. So I could not join. I'm so sorry for that. We have advanced class tomorrow onwards. So tomorrow it is 8 a.m. morning.
Madam, if not, evening is not there any classes?
Evening is as of now, let's see, like if most of you are ready for evening, we can connect evening, otherwise we can connect at morning. So as of now it is morning. After 1 week we can start evening once the morning batch is formed.
Okay, because whatever you are giving, madam, we have plenty of time, and you are said that we will you share you are as you said that you will share all the videos and material. So we want to learn within the short term, like 45 days. I need to complete both courses, like intermediate and advanced. That's why I'm asking, madam.
Yes, sure, no problem. So what I can tell you is you can enroll for both and very soon we will start the advanced batch. But this may not be this week, maybe next week, evening I'm saying. Morning is already started. Today onwards it is started. People who are interested for morning, please join 8 a.m. morning, right? And evening batch we will start not this week, maybe next Sunday we'll keep the demo for the advanced evening. Okay? Okay. Yeah. So okay. So in the last what we have connected is in the last class what we have seen is very basics like how to take help in Jupyter Notebook, question marks, and how to install a package. Right. Today onwards we are going to start with the Python content, the core Python, and you have not missed anything. Anyone is there for whom today is the first class? Anyone is there? Today is the
It is my first class, ma'am. Sridhar, my name is.
Sridhar, okay. May I know a little background? Like you are completely beginner or you have little experience in Python?
I do have a little bit experience in Python. I'm working as a test analyst, but I do have knowledge.
Oh, great. Then I think this is nothing for you. Like you already must be knowing about Jupyter and Anaconda and all other things, right?
I do know about it. And I'm also interested in part 2 of Python in the morning session, so I will be joining tomorrow.
Yes, yes. So just before I start, right, I may take some 30 seconds to ask this question. So 8 a.m. morning time is okay, or do you want to shift it to 6:30?
I go with your flexibility.
6:30.
For me, 6:30 would be preferable.
I am okay with whatever the time you prefer. I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to tell you because 6:30, many students are requesting me. I forgot about other countries. I just concentrate. I forgot about US and other CST, EST time zones. So they are requesting me to take it at 6:30. And actually, the class timing was 6:30. I'm also very comfortable at 6:30 because we finish all the class morning.
So, Sasmita, you're talking about intermediate course or advanced one?
No. Intermediate will be 8 p.m. This is the timing. 8:30 today it is, but it will shift to 8 p.m. Right? So that is the timing for intermediate. I'm talking about advanced. The morning 6:30 can we fix the timing at 6:30 morning?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, right? Okay.
6:30 would be
Yeah,
fine.
actually,
6:30
I
Yeah.
prefer evening.
30 or 8, anything is fine for me.
Anything is fine, no problem. Then
Yeah,
I'll keep it
for
at
me,
6:30.
evening will be better,
Madam, we will
Central
join
Time.
evening time only, madam. For me, it's not possible for morning time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's discuss the evening timing. Maybe I will talk with you. Yeah, evening maybe we will connect at 6 or 7 p.m. evening. That may not be this week, but maybe next week, because we are starting morning batch. Once that is formed, then we will start the evening batch, right? Maybe after 1 week, not this week. So morning time I'm fixing at 6:30 because many other in US and other Canada kind of time zone, right? It is very late night for them. 8 is late night. So I forgot to think about them. So many students today called me and requested me. So let us keep it at, but tomorrow I'm not sure. I'm confusing the institute also. They are also confused now. I told them to change it to 8 a.m. but I will again tell them, please for tomorrow you can adjust. But actually the class timing, let me confirm, we are not going to change it further. It is 6:30 a.m. morning for advanced and 8 p.m. evening for intermediate. After 1 week, we are going to start advanced evening also. And the advanced evening time will be 7 p.m. Will that okay for everyone? 7 to 8.
Yes, madam. Absolutely okay, madam. Fine.
Yes. So
Madam,
evening
that
7.
also, madam, for advance also like 1 week like syllabus and these demo classes will go. Means after 1 week, again you will take maybe 1 week for demo and giving
Yes, correct.
the little bit of, again, I mean, like, that means after 14 days, the original class may start. Huh?
Yes, that's true. Yes. I have to take 1 week demo because many people will register. Having said that, the morning will be 1 week ahead. Evening will be 1 week after.
Okay, madam. Madam, after enrollment, so can we get the materials or YouTube links or videos such that for the both
Yes.
advanced and intermediate?
I'll help you with that. Once your enrollment is confirmed, I will add you to the previous batch for where you can get the entire video. If you want, you can forward and you can go through. Most student will be
Yes.
80% will be same. 20% I'm going to change.
Yes,
Most
madam. Okay.
student
Because when we have if you whatever the previous videos will go through your videos, no, madam, if you have doubt further, so we can ask in the class live. Why we are going to take, my intention is that if I'm stuck anywhere, if I'm doubt, then
Yes.
I need support. That's why I'm taking the live sessions from you, madam. Otherwise we can find the number of videos sessions from the YouTube. There is no conversation, no, madam. That's why we are taking the live session from you. If it's possible, so I will confirm the enrollment tomorrow onwards itself. And
Sure. Yeah, you can do that.
yes,
Okay.
madam.
Yes. So let us start with the content, and any further doubts, maybe after this class is over, I will talk with everyone, right? So if you have any specific questions that you want to ask to me, right, you can wait. Once the today's session is over, we can discuss, right? Okay, so what we are going to start is we're going to start with core Python, right? Now, many of you are non-technical and completely new to Python. For them, I had given a set of keywords, and hope everybody has gone through that keyword, right? So the keywords are like class, object, and simple concepts like that, right? So let us start with core Python. The first thing that we are going to see today is something called, let's understand what we're going to discuss. What is the takeaway for today's class? We will be understanding what is called a variable, very important concept. What is a variable we will discuss. Once we discussed about variable, we will discuss type conversion, how to convert one type to another type. And then we will be discussing about functions, right? Python function, how to write a function, how to define it, how to call it. After that, if time permits, we'll start with loops. Loops means if, else, while, and for loop. And as I said, don't think that I am rushing or kind of I'm not, because core Python is just a kind of, I'm not covering everything in detail or going, I'm intentionally little faster. I think I already told you, because you're already getting Python a recording by Durga sirs where it is very detailed and 40 hours content. You should focus on that video to understand other modules about core Python. I will start mostly from NumPy onwards, which is very, very important, right? Having said that, these all modules you can 100% understand. If you have any doubt, please stop me at any point. Okay, so what we're going to see in today's class, variable, type conversion, function, and loops. These are the 4 concepts we're going to discuss. Let us first understand how to write a variable. Before we understand about variable, let me ask you one question. Anyone, can you tell me what do you mean by a variable? What do you mean by a variable? Anyone? What is a variable? Anyone? Like what is a variable?
Variable is a data type which does not have definitive value but has an instant value at the point of a program or code.
Okay. So variable is something yourself. Yeah. Yeah. So variable is a container, right? Basically, if you ask me, variable is a container. Having said that, variable is something, it's a memory location which holds the reference, which contains the real value. In simple terms, you can understand variable as a container where you will store the data, right? Every language has variables. In Python, how to declare a variable? For example, if I write, let's say variable 1 equals to 7. So what I'm doing here, I'm giving a name called variable 1 and I'm assigning the value 7. So you can understand here, I'm not giving any data type for this variable. I'm not writing int var. I'm not writing like this. Int var1 equals to 7. Whereas in Java and other languages, you must be writing this data type before you declare variables, right? So in Python, this data type declaration, you can see invalid syntax, right? Showing you invalid syntax because as a user, you no need to take care of the data types. The interpreter will understand it. So based on the value that you're assigning to the variable, the interpreter will understand the type of the variable. For example, here, if I call this type method, there is a built-in function called type, which will let you understand what is the type of your variable. If I write type of variable 1, and if I run, I can see integer type, right? Now I have not written int, but still the interpreter is understanding it is an integer type, right? So this property of variable is called dynamically typed. So what is very important, you need to understand that Python variables are dynamically typed, right? Dynamically typed. Python variables are dynamically typed. So what do you mean by this particular line? Python variables are dynamically typed. So data type as a user, I'm not giving, it is the kind of the interpreter itself, it will decide the data type. Now, if I change it to 7.7, if I run this, you can see the type of the variable will change from integer to float. If I write a quote, it will change from float to string. Right? If I write the 7.7 within quotes, you can see this type will change from float to string. So what you need to understand is in Python, single quotation and double quotation, both are string, right? In Python, this single quotation or, right, this single quotation or this double quotation. So both are what? Both indicates string. Like other languages where you have character and string, it's not like that in Python. Both represent your string. Single or double quotation, both represent your string. So so now this is how I can declare a variable. Any value, just directly assign the value to a variable, and you can see the data type is automatically given by the interpreter, right? Now, once I have defined the variable and given the data type, what I want to understand next is, can I convert from one type to another type? For example, this is a string type, right? If I run this, you can see 7.7 is within quotes. So anything within quotes is a string type. Now, if I want to change this, the 7.7 string type to float type or any other type, how to do that? Let's say I will write variable 2. Variable 2 equals to, I will write float. To float, I want to convert. To float, I want to convert. So I will write float and then within bracket, I will write 7.7. And if I run this, you can see that what is variable 2? Let me show you what is my variable 2. So you can see that variable 2 is 7.7, which is a floating type. So again, if I find the type, of variable 2, you can see that it's a floating type. So what you understood from here is what is a variable? Variable is a storage or container. Basically, it stores the value. In actual definition, stores the reference which holds the value. And how to convert variable from one type to another type? Just type. For example, here, variable 2. Let's say I'm writing another variable, right? Let's say variable 3 is variable 3 is 90, right? And this 90 is within quotes. I want to convert. This is which type? Can anybody tell? Variable 3 is which type? If it is within quotes, which type it is?
Madam. String.
String, right? Yes. So if I want to convert this string to integer, can you tell me the code how to do that? So I want to convert this variable 3, which is a string right now, to integer. How to do that? How to convert? Int of variable 3. So we will write int of variable 3, and this will be converted. Now I will ask you one more question. So can anything be converted to any other thing? Answer is no. If that is compatible, then only I will be able to convert. Like this is 90, which is a number. That's why even though it is within string, I can convert it to integer. If I write high, do you think I can convert it to integer now? Tell me. Will I able to convert? No, because high I cannot convert it. High is a categorical column, or not column, basically string data or text data. I cannot convert text data into numbers. If I run int of variable 3, you can find error. So type compatibility also you need to check. If it is compatible, you can convert any type to any other type. If you want to convert to integer, you write int and within bracket you write the value. You want to convert to float, within bracket you write the value. You want to convert to string, str, within bracket you write the value. And variables are dynamically typed. Dynamically typed means once you have created a variable, you cannot do any modification. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So if once you have assigned the value type, so it is like the type is not defined by the user, right? It is by the interpreter. So that's why it is called dynamically typed. So I'll stop here. Is this variable concept clear? Any doubt in this variable? So I just want to give heading called variable. How to give heading in Jupyter? Anybody remember? Heading. What I will do?
Shortcut M and escape M.
Yes. You write escape M, so it will convert it to markdown. See, it has converted it to markdown, and after that you write escape and then 1. What you will type? Escape and then 1 for the first header, escape 2 second header, escape 3, like that. So I just want the first header, so I will write escape 1, and what is the topic name? Variable. So this is not the final code. Like I'm going to share you the other document. Let me share the file. So this is just the practice note, but this is one note, right? Python session 1. I will be sharing this note. Along with that, I will be sharing you one book and a lot of other documents. So yeah, so this is your first basic session 1, where everything is very well maintained, right? This is just a kind of practice note. So you can go through all of this. We are in variable right now, so you can understand hello Python, all of this, comment, operator, data types. We'll discuss all of this, right? We are in variable. So this I'm going to share with you, but this is just a practice note. We are doing it in the class. Also, I'm going to share you one book, though there are hundreds of resources to learn Python. And I guess if you have Durga sir's recording, don't need anything. You can go through that and my recordings also. But I will share one book also, Think Python book, the PDF. I will upload in the drive. If you have time, you can go through that as well. Right? Okay. Is it clear? The variable is clear. Any doubt in variable? Python variable, is it clear? Please say yes, yes, if it is clear.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now, once you understood about variable and type conversion, I think this is a very simple thing, but we need to remember or understand what is the built-in function to print anything in the console. So to print anything in the console, we will be using a print command. So in Java, it is system.out.println, right? So in Python, we have this print function, which will print anything in the console. So I'll just write print, and then I will write hi, right? And then I will run it. So it will display hi, right? I will print hi. So anything you want to print, you just write the message within print. Print is a built-in function. We will discuss about functions today, then you will understand what is a user-defined function and what I mean by built-in function. So print, you should call this print, and within bracket, you write what you want to print. If it is a number, no need to give your quotes. Just write the number as it is. Let's say 8 plus 9. So you'll get the sum, right? But if it is a string, you need to write the string within single quote or double quote. We understood what is a variable. We understood how to print anything in the console. How to print anything from the keyboard, how to take input from the keyboard. So that is something which is very important. How to take input from the keyboard, how to take input, right, from the keyboard. So keyboard in the sense, sometimes we ask the user to input the name, something like that, right? Let's say enter the file name, enter the file path, something like that. If you want the user to pass something from the keyboard as input, what is the function in Python that I need to use? The input function I need to use. Which function? Input function. So let me give you one example, right? Let's say I am asking you, I will call this input function, and within this input function, I will write the text, what I want to print. I want to print enter, right? Enter your year of experience, right? Enter your year of experience. So I want the user to enter the year of experience, and which method I'm using? Input method. Need to use input method to take input from the keyboard. So let me run this, shift enter. So it is asking me to enter my number, right? My year of experience. Having said that, you can see this cell is not completed. This is start. So this is still running. So what I will do is I will enter my year of experience. Let's say I'm just writing some random number. Let's say one year of experience, and then enter. So you can see that I have not hold it in some variable. Let's say let's say store this variable. Experience will store this value that I'm entering. But having said that, have you seen I have entered number 1, but it is a string format. This input, whatever you are entering from the keyboard, if you are entering a number also, it will take that number as a string. Whatever you're entering from a keyboard, it will be taken as a string, right? Not a number. So later you can do type conversion, but just to kind of tell you, whatever you're entering, it's always will take that as a string. Let me run again. Again, it will ask me, this time I'm entering, let's say 4, and then enter. Now what I will do is, let me see what is there in this variable. This variable, experience variable, contains a value 4. That value that I've entered from the keyboard, that it is storing, right? Now, if you understand this, tell me, year of experience, you always want in which format? In integer or in string format? Year of experience. It should be ideally in which format? Year of experience is a number 4, 5, 6, 7. In which format it should be? Float or integer, isn't it? Now it is string, right? So can anybody help me converting this string into integer? Whatever I'm entering, I want it to be integer, but default is string. I want to convert it to integer. What is the code?
Use the integer function.
Yes. So before this input function, just call the int function. You just now you understood type conversion. So we are going to use that. I'm going to convert the whatever I'm entering. Always it will be string if I will not convert. So if I need a number, I will write int of that, right? Int of that, and immediately, like whenever it will, whatever I am entering, let's say 7 or 8 or whatever, it will be converted to integer. And then you can see exp is now integer, not a string, right? So this is how you can take input from the keyboard. Very simple. Python is super simple. Unlike other languages, we no need to write very lengthy codes like Java. Single line of code. And this is an interpreter based language, not compiled based. So it will execute line by line. So simple, like you can see your every output after running one line. So this is a very, very, very easy kind of language, right? All the non-programmers like Avinash and others, are you getting Avinash? Variable input?
Yeah, I got variable, but actually I wasn't able to get this particular thing.
Input you did not get.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So input is something which, see, if I run this program, see again, when I'm running this program, can you tell me, Avinash, what it is asking me? What it is showing me?
It is asking for the year of experience, which should be an integer value, ideally.
Yes, no. But where I will give input. So is it something which I have to type from my keyboard or it is already there? Tell me. So it is asking me to type a number from my keyboard, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? So this input is a function which you will use if you want the user to pass any input from the keyboard and you want to hold it or store it in a variable, right? So I'm asking the user to enter something from the keyboard. I am entering, let's say, hi, right? Now this is a wrong value I'm entering. It will give error because hi cannot be converted to integer. Let's say 7. So this 7 from where I have entered? From the keyboard I have entered 7. Now this has been converted to integer. So input method you will use when you want the user to use the keyboard, and whatever the user is passing through the keyboard, that you store in some variable. Is it clear? Now this is different and this is different. Here what I'm doing, here I'm storing a number directly. Tell me, Vinash, this 3, has I entered from keyboard or directly I have passed the value?
No, the 3 has been assigned to VAR.
Variable, right? Correct.
Yes.
So it's been assigned, but this can be every time you run the code, it is constant, but here every time you run the code, it will ask you to enter a value. Whatever you're entering, that will be stored every time. If I run again, you will find again the same question it will ask me. Now it will be kind of input method where you will pass the value from the keyboard and it will store it, right, in a variable. So in that case, I will be using input method. Everyone, is it clear how to take input from keyboard and variable? Is this two concept is clear?
Yes, madam. Madam, where will you use this input function, madam? Most of the case.
Okay, so when you are sharing your file with your manager, let's say you have stored your file inside C2120, some your employee ID within that, Asmita, and then slash data science, and that and then slash. You have your path. When you share that to your manager and want him to run, do you want to share or hard code that path, or do you want anyone actually, whoever is running that code, to enter the path of the file? Which is a good solution? Always it is a good solution to ask the user to enter the path, right, where they have saved the file, because it will different for different users, isn't it? I may save it somewhere, you may save it somewhere else, right? Your file may be in downloads, my file is in C folder, right? So it's always better to enter the path and then dynamically you take it instead of hard coding. If you do hard code, what will happen is definitely that will throw error and somebody has to change it. Let's say 100 people are running your code, 100 times people has to change, isn't it? Instead of that, why can't you write this input function? Let them enter their own path and you hold that path. You get a real-time example where you can use input in the coding. You do not understand, is it? Understood or not understood? Tell me, I'll repeat, no problem. Okay,
Yes, madam. Understood, madam.
yeah.
Yeah, I have one doubt. So initially we put input and enter your year of experience. So the meaning of input is we have to input the value. I mean the a value for the year of experience, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Then we assigned. I mean exp is. I mean we assigned exp is equal to then input and then the entire text. So what happened with that?
Okay, Avinash. So what I will do is let us wait till the class is over and I will answer you maybe one to one, right? All your doubts I will answer. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. first we understood what is a variable, and then we understood how to take input from keyboard, right? Now the data types of Python, maybe we can discuss tomorrow. Today we are going to discuss one very important concept called function. Can anybody tell me, or maybe we can start with loops, right? Function we'll see tomorrow. So loops, right? The first very simple loop that I will discuss is while loop. Anybody remembered while loop? What is while loop? Anyone? While loop? You need to tell me. I'll hear. While loop. Anyone? What is the logic behind while loop? Have you used it before in any language?
It's an iterative condition used to achieve the desired. It is iterative until we get the desired result.
Yes. So while loop is something which will repeat the condition until it is false. We will check a condition until and unless that condition is false, the while loop will keep executing. That is your while loop, right? So I think Raj, you had given a correct answer. So repeat until certain condition is met, or repeat the like loop until and unless your condition is false. So what I'm saying, let us understand that through an example. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write a simple while loop using Python. So again, let me repeat. So this while loop is basically for a conditional select kind of checking. If the condition is true, it will enter, and if the condition is false, it will stop, right? So let us write one variable called counter. I will assign a value, let's say 10. The value of this counter is 10. Now I will start writing my while loop. How to write while loop in Python? W-I-L-E, this is the keyword, while keyword, followed by the condition. What condition I'm checking here? Whether this counter is greater than, let's say 3. So I'm checking whether this counter is greater than 3. This is very important step. Any block you are starting in Python, you name it while loop, you name it for loop, you name it else, or you name it like your function or any block, you have to give a colon, right? You have to give a colon and then enter. So you can see some space is there. So this property of Python is called indentation, spacing. For other languages like SQL and Java and all that, even in Scala, it's a good programming practice to give space. Having said that, if you have not indented your code properly, that is not an error, right? If your code is not properly indented, that is not an error. In Python, it is an error. Let me repeat, indentation in Python is very important, right? Or it is mandatory, rather I will say indentation in Python. Let me do one thing, right? Let me not indent it and let me just run here the code, and let me rather me talking, let me show you. And then you can see some output. What happened? It just stuck. Okay, it's an infinite loop, right? Isn't it? Because yeah, I understood. So it's an infinite loop. Let me write. Okay, so let me run it now. Okay, if something like this happened, so what I will do now, I told you in the last class, what is the solution? If the cell is keep executing, it is stuck. We will tell this cell is kind of stuck, or this is not going forward. And why this is happening? Because this is an infinite loop anyway. But what is the solution? What I will do right now? Tell me. Last class we discussed. What I will do now?
We used to reshape. Again, we want to rerun the program. Kernel option. Yes, madam.
Yes, you need to click on this interrupt. So restart means everything will be started from scratch, right? Interrupt means the current cell will be interrupted. Let me click on this interrupt. You can see this current cell which is running will be interrupted, right? It should be interrupted. Is it? It is not. Okay, not working anyway. So restart and run all clear output. So this will definitely work, but interrupt should work. Yeah. So this worked. So what I will do is again I will run, but let me see. Let me run this. So Okay, so what you have seen the error? What error? Can anybody read it out? What is the error? Expected and indented block, right? So what is this error? Anytime in Python, if you're getting this error called indented block, expected and indented block. So it is expecting an indented block, but you're not giving proper indentation. That's why it is throwing you error. So what is the proper way of writing this code? Any block, not only in while, any block, a for loop, while loop, function, whatever you're writing in Python, you need to give one space. So how much space is totally up to you. It's not like one tab only. There's nothing, no formula. One tab, two tab, three tab, how much space? But at least some space you need to give. And the second line should start immediately below this. So why this is kind of throwing error? Because in Python, there is no curly braces concept. If you are other programmer, if you have used any other programming language, you must have understood what I'm saying. So this curly braces is the body part and the header part, right? So while is the header part and this curly braces is the body part, but in Python, there is no curly braces. So there is only one way to tell the interpreter, this is body part, this is the kind of header part, by giving some space. Let's say this while loop is completed. You can write your next code. If this while loop is completed, you just start from here. So this print is outside of while, right? I am outside of while. So this print is outside of this while, but this print is inside of this while, right? I am inside while, right? Let's say I am inside while, and also I am printing the value, right? Let's say print of counter. Let me repeat what I did. So I'm explaining you what is a while loop. While loop is a loop which will keep executing until the condition is false. So we are checking one condition called counter is greater than 3. So here counter equals to 10. In the first step, 10 is greater than 3. Condition is true. It will get inside. It will print I am inside while. Counter value also it will print. It will decrement counter value from 10 to 9. Again, it will print 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and then 3. When it will decrement the value to 3, again it will check 3 is greater than 3. The condition is false. Hence, it will come out of while loop and then it will execute print I am outside of while. Because once the while loop is completed, then only the print statement, the last print, which is outside of this while, will be executed, right? See, I am inside while 10, 9, and then once it is outside of while, finally it will print I am outside of while. When it is outside, when 4, I mean 3 is not, when the condition is false. I will stop here. Is this while loop is clear? Any doubt?
Yeah, madam. Clear, madam.
Okay. Any doubt, everyone? Others?
Madam, why you written this counter equal to counter minus 1? Why you written this, madam?
Okay. If I will not write, can anybody tell me what will happen? Let's say if I am not write this. Tell me. What will be the output? Who can tell me? If I will not write counter equals to counter minus 1, what will be the output of my code?
Okay. Acha, it is taking me 10 minus 9, 9 minus 8 like this.
Yes, it will be an infinite loop, isn't it? Because always the condition will be true. 10 is greater than 3, again it will print the counter. Again next time 10 will be greater than 3, again it will print counter. 10 is greater than 3, keep printing counter, 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 counter. I am inside while counter. Infinite time. It will not end ever. Why? Because the condition will never be false. Is it clear why I'm writing counter equals to counter minus 1?
Got it, madam.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing you can note here, two things actually. One is a while loop, how to execute while loop, what is the condition, how to write the syntax. Second thing is any block when you're starting, you write a colon and then give some spacing, indentation, very important, right? Indentation in Python is mandatory. Okay, so is this while loop is clear? See, this is an infinite loop, right? Okay. I need to interrupt. Okay, so okay, this kernel is also not working now because this is infinite loop. Exit pages. Need to restart. Okay.
Madam,
So-
syllabus still we have not received, madam. Syllabus.
Syllabus you have not still received, is it? Okay, I
Yes,
will
madam.
update. I will tell to institute to forward you.
Ma'am, we need to have links for drive data, drive link also.
So drive link depends on your registration. As soon as we have some strength in the class, then as I said, right, if you want to start the class sooner and sooner, then you should confirm your enrollment as soon as possible, because there is a threshold. I think after 7 or 8 registration, we'll start creating the drive. I think within 1 or 2 days, you can see the drive. Right? Once the drive is created, I will upload everything in that drive. I'm just waiting for the drive to be created. Then I will upload the notes, the recordings will be uploaded by institutes, everything I will up to date. Okay.
Excuse me, is it only I am not able to hear or everyone is able to hear?
I think others are able to hear because they are participating. Jatud, I think there is some problem from your side, the audio issue. Others, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Madam, I'm also
Very-
following, madam.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I think Jatud, you can check maybe from your side some audio issue. Okay, so I want to cover, but I have to stop here because if I cover so many topics, others who are joining maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, they will think many things has been covered. We'll go slow this week also. Having said that, once the batch is formed, once we freeze the demo link, we'll be going in the pace. So let me repeat what we have covered so far. We have discussed about installation. These are the golden times for all the non-programmers, right? This is the golden time to revise the concepts and kind of go through the Python, at least basic concepts. And what I found is when Python till Python, everything will go very nice. You will understand 100%, I'm sure, if you have a little background. When we start statistics and machine learning, right? Today, see, I have to stop the class today because people are asking me why derivative of a square by dx square by dx. What is the derivative, anyone? Dx square by dx. What is the derivative? 2x, isn't it? So there are some basic things you need to remember. Otherwise, it is very difficult for me to go through the maths. Even though I will be covering everything, see the derivative concept, I will be teaching you first, but all the kind of formulas I cannot take you through, right? The concept I will teach you. Some of the things you need to pre-prepare, not now, but when you go to machine learning, I'll tell you in tomorrow's class, these are derivatives you need to go through. I'm not talking about mathematical part, obviously I'll take it, but the basics like the derivative dx square by dx is 2x. This is a kind of 10th class math, right? Please correct me if I'm wrong. So those kind of things I will make sure to let everybody understand. I'll send you files to read basic mathematics, and you please go through y equals to mx plus c. So this is very simple. I cannot tell you y equals to mx plus c, why that is like that, right? So basic maths, I think I can tell you beforehand so that you can prepare. I think that will be helpful for everyone, right? From my experience, I'm just modifying a little bit. Otherwise, Python, you will understand. I know till Plotly, everything will go very smooth. When you go to machine learning, maths also will go very smooth. People who have a very basic background, like small, very simple formulas, if you know, that will definitely help you. So for every class, you need to pre-prepare. I'll upload some of the files and you need to go through that before you come, right? At least from machine learning part. Okay. My notes are very, but to understand that also you need a little background, isn't it? Okay. So
Ma'am,
installation.
okay. Where can we find Durga sir videos, ma'am? Link you will be sending.
No. You will be getting username password. Once your enrollment is confirmed, within 30 minutes, you'll get the username password. You can log into the website through that.
Enrollment is done, ma'am, from my end. I didn't get any username and password.
Okay. So may I know your name? I will update Bhavani ma'am. She will.
Praveen, ma'am.
Praveen, right? Okay. Okay, Praveen. I'll update Bhavani ma'am. She will add you in the
Okay, ma'am.
folder. Yeah.
Madam, do you cover all the regression models and the super vector models, all the statistics and from the basics to advanced level?
Yes, yes. Whatever we are covering is, I have checked actually. So what I have done is, many student asked me why this institute is giving that, not the. So I normally don't go through all of this, but yesterday, after my battery is low. So I just did 1 hour I have spent going through every institute and what they're providing and the price and everything. And I can assure you the content is kind of very, very well managed, right? People are not giving deep learning in advanced level. We are covering so many topics from deep learning. I know you people are little confused because you all are beginner and very difficult, right? If I am in your place, I will also be confused. Deep learning, deep learning. So writing deep learning means nothing, right? You need to tell what all algorithms, and inside that algorithms, how much in depth you are going, right? So basically, data science is nothing.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, hi everyone. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry. Actually, I don't know, like my system shut down because no charge. And then I was not getting my charger. I was searching for 2-3 minutes. Yeah. So again, I need to reconnect. Okay. So I am not the organizer, but let it be. So actually we can stop today's class and we can connect tomorrow onwards. I was just summarizing what we have covered. And if you have any queries, you can ask now, right? We will
Hello.
not. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Hi, hi, Shuja. I hope you
Proceed.
are doing really well. So I am doing a development around 3 years. Yes, I also worked in web development as well, Django and Flux. But I want to change my domain from data science machine learning. So can you tell me the roadmap how to do that? It really helped me a lot. Today is my first session.
Yeah, Raj, can you make me organizer? I made you organizer by leaving. So can you make me organizer? I'm not the organizer. Okay. So first of all, people who already attended my demo classes, and if you don't have anything to ask, and if you're just waiting for the course content, maybe today you will, I think I already shared, but you may get it from the institute, right? Or maybe what I will do is tomorrow's class, I will display the content in front of you so that you can ask doubts. You will also get it in the drive. I will upload the content. You will also get it in the website. We will publish the content in the website. People who joined today newly, or if you have any doubt that you want to ask, then only you stay. Otherwise, you can leave. Tomorrow, we will continue with the Python content. Okay, we are all good with Python, right? You understood Python, no doubt.
Yeah, I understand. I did a 2-3 project on Django and Flax as well.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so then, yeah, so other we can stay. If you don't have any doubt, you're good. You want to continue further classes, please join tomorrow. We'll connect just to make sure the timings. Tomorrow, the timings, I don't know. Please check whether it is 8 or 8:30. But this week will be so much confusion because of demo sessions. But the time of the class is 8 p.m. Be prepared for 8 p.m. only. It's not 8:30. 8. And second thing is the advanced class is shifted to 6:30. Tomorrow it is 8, but actually it is 6:30. From day after tomorrow onwards, it is shifted to 6:30. 6:30 to 7:30 is the advanced class. Okay, now you don't have any questions to ask. Yeah. So who was asking me that question? Can you repeat? So you are asking me the roadmap of data science. The
Yeah.
answer is you join the course, and this course itself is a roadmap to data science. Step by step, we are covering everything. First is data collection. You will be efficient in collecting any kind of data, whether it is text data, video data, image data, time series data, or semi-structured data like Excel or CSV file. Part 2 will teach you how to handle big data, how to collect, if your data is stored in, tell me, what is the possibility? Data can be stored in cloud. Yes, you have cloud knowledge, you can expect it. Data
Yes,
can be stored.
Little bit.
Yes, data can be stored in image format. Image processing. Data can be stored in series data, like maybe time column is there, and data can be any format. Part 1, you will understand CSV, Excel, JSON, all of this. So data collection, you will be very efficient. That is the first step of data science project. Second is data cleaning. Part 1 will teach you how to clean your data if it is semi-structured data, like kind of SQL data or database data, or let's say your semi-structured data like CSV, Excel, JSON kind of. Part 2 will teach you how to clean your unstructured data like text and video data, and especially big data, right? Then you will understand modeling technique. In part 1, you will be learning machine learning. In part 2, you will be learning deep learning. So this course itself is a path. Without thinking so much, just enroll and follow the classes, do the assignments, prepare your CV, do the projects, read the questions, and do the coding test. And after 3 months, or if you're taking parallelly after 1 month, you will be in a position where you can clear interviews. So this course itself is a path, roadmap. So what you need to complete first, and then what you need to complete second, everything, the syllabus is very well structured. First, you need to complete Python, and then core Python, then advanced Python, then visualization, and then you need to understand statistics, and then modeling. After you understand this is one track. Other track is the deep learning.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, if you want to know about the detail about what is data science, what is data engineering, what is data analyst, what is the difference, you please go through the demo recordings, right? I have in YouTube, so you can get a complete clarity. So go to Durgasoft Sasmita Data Science. You will find.
No. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt you. I already watched your demo video on YouTube. Then I came to enroll that session. Just in that demo session, you told that you have to show the minimum 1 year of experience in data science. That will really help us to get a job in a data science. So so if I told any company I have a data science freshers, can you tell me what is the drawback of telling that I am a data science freshers?
See, drawback, right? When you're a fresher, pay scale will go down. I don't know your experience. Let's say you are 15-year experience.
Yes, I have a 3 years of experience in
3 year
development.
is 3 year total experience, right?
Yes, total experience. I also
then you are a fresher only.
I am pretty much confident in Python because I am also did the project development Flask and Django. So my
Sujay, so in your case, you don't need to hide entire thing because Flask and Django, at least Python experience. So you can show that. In 2 years, you can show that, and 6 months you can show as a data analyst. So you are a fresher only. 3-year experience is nothing. So you are a fresher, and you can actually join as a data analyst if you're getting, if not data science, right? And Python is kind of, you're already from Python background. Nothing much to hide. You can show everything that you have done. Everything is relevant, at least, right? And then 6 months you can show in data science. Some POCs you have done in data science. That's you can see. Right?
Okay. Thank
and
you.
You can match the pay scale because as a web developer with 3-year experience, whatever you are getting, data science freshers will be getting more than a web developer, for sure.
Yes. I already searched about lot of things about data science.
Yeah.
I already enrolled Udemy course, but I am not able to catch the thing. That's why I am moved to live session. That is the main reason.
No problem. Got it.
So thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
No problem. Yeah, that's. Okay.
Hi, I'm Sridhar. Where can I get yesterday's intermediate advanced class demos videos?
Demo videos, YouTube. Go to YouTube.
Not demo. Yesterday installation class and advanced Python.
Got it. Yes, I will share you. This is also there in YouTube, but I will share you the exact link. You need to download Anaconda Python and Jupyter Notebook tutorial. That's what we have completed. Let me share you that to sharing that link, right? one sec.
Sure, thank you. And what about the advanced Python machine learning class?
Yes, join tomorrow's demo session 8 a.m. In advance, it is yes, it is very helpful. So we have GCP, we have cloud, we have big data. Along with that, we have deep learning and NLP.
I will join. Thank
yes, but tomorrow's demo I will be explaining you. It's kind of complete thing. So I will explain. I will take you through the course content. I will show you the projects. I will show you the lecture notes. So
yeah,
if
I
you
have gone through your demo videos
Yeah.
previously. So I know.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
Hello, ma'am. Again, Sujoy.
Yes, Sridhar. Yeah.
I want to know that which one is better approach. First I am completing the Python and data science basic course, and then I will go to the advanced course. Or there are another option doing the things in a similar pattern. Which one is better?
See, if you ask me, I don't know everybody's background, but if you are from a kind of intermediate background, at least you understand the concepts, then I guess in parallelly you should take. Why? I will tell you. It is very like nowadays it is very difficult for keep that motivation alive for 3 months, right? You may lose that motivation. 1.5 months you can dedicate, and then you complete. As soon as this is completed, you can prepare for jobs, right? That's the one thing. Second thing is, will you be able to understand? That's a very good question. I want to tell you, everybody who has a Python background, just basic core Python, I'm not talking about advanced Flask, Django, no. Core Python, if you know variable functions, loops, very common concepts of Python, if you know, easily you understand part 2. Even though you have not attended a single class from part 1, you can understand part 2. And I'm with confidence, I'm telling why. Part 2, and it's not like you understood part 1 means you can understand part 2. No, these are parallel tracks. Please understand, that is image processing, deep learning. This is machine learning. So it's not there's any dependence in machine learning and deep learning. Though the goal or objective is same, the way the training we are doing for a deep learning model is completely different than what we are doing in machine learning. Machine learning has a set of algorithm. Deep learning has a separate set of algorithm, right? Having said that, NLP, text mining, there is no link like statistics and data cleaning, outliers, all of these things you will do if your data is semi-structured. If your data is text, the processing is different. You need to understand other things, how to clean your data if it is text. Image processing, understand if your data is image data. If your data is time series data, you need to understand about seasonality, trend, autocorrelation, noise. So that completely different. Parallel line, this is a parallel line, right? Only common thing is Python. So only thing I will tell you is if you have core Python knowledge, anyway you're attending this demo, so I will be covering core Python, right, in this week. So understand this core Python, you can understand advanced Python, and more than like so like it's completely different track. So there's nothing common, right? So easily you can understand. That's the same thing I can tell you.
Last one from my side.
Yeah.
So probability is really important for data science or data analyst.
Sorry, what you're asking? Probability.
Probability is really, I know the statistics is really important for data science as well as data analyst. But I am little bit of confusion is because probability is really important, really help us to get that place.
See, probability is there are some algorithm which depends on probability. If it is machine learning, if it is deep learning, probability has no connection, right? Deep learning are different, but if it is machine learning, there are certain algorithms like naive Bayes and other which uses probability concept. Long back when it is 2015-16, people used to give probability questions in the coding test. Being said that now the track is completely different. People are not giving you problems to solve. They had so many things to cover. They're giving different questions. Are you getting? If 2015, 16, 14, kind of that time, 5-6 years back, one probability puzzle question is for sure you will get any data science interview, because that time coding tests were not there. Nowadays they're grilling you coding tests, so they're not giving you probability questions. Having said that, I will not say this is not important. This is something which is which you will learn over the time. Like we will be completing some of the probability topics, not everything. Like normal distribution, we will be completing. There are different kind of distribution, binomial, variable. So you know the basics, and then when you join the company, you will understand the later part. Probability is important. Having said that, in interviews, there is a less chance that probability question you may get. The pattern is changed. Because
Okay.
5 years back, deep learning was not that popular, right? So people were so much focusing on probability and machine learning. Now deep learning is trending. So people are going that direction. Is it clear? So they're asking questions from that direction. GCP, cloud, big data, deep learning, those questions they're asking. And in the coding, they're checking your Python knowledge rather than probability theoretical knowledge. They're more interested checking your Python knowledge in the coding test.
So you are saying that it is really important to be a logical oriented guy, logical oriented.
Yes, yes, yes. So probability is something which is kind of very important. I will not say it's not important. Having said that, it may not be required to clear interviews. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. No, I got your answer. I got your answer. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, thank you everyone. So Raj, if you have enrolled today, maybe you can you with ma'am if it is possible. All the people who want all the batch recording, you can be added in the previous batches. All right, but the content is different from your, at least intermediate content is different. So let me see how it is going. Yeah. Okay, so we are all good.
Yeah. Hi, madam. I had doubts. I mean, can we discuss now?
Yeah, I'm getting late, maybe 2-3 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So the first question was regarding that input from keyboard. So
Yeah.
firstly, we wrote like input, then bracket, then enter your year of experience. So by putting that input, we have to manually input the number, correct?
Yes. Let's say you entered 5.
Yeah. Okay. So I understood that aspect. After that, you put as exp is equal to input, then bracket, then enter your year of experience. What happens when you do that?
Yeah, so what happens when you write input? So you get 5, right?
Yes.
But 5 is the value I am storing
Okay.
in a variable called exp. What is a variable? It's a container. Previously, I was manually entering. So variable 3 equals to 5. Here I'm asking the user to enter. So once the user is entering, whatever I'm entering from the keyboard, I'm storing it in a variable called exp. Now,
Okay.
this variable is in string format. Everything that are entered from a keyboard, default format is string. I wanted to convert to integer. We have discussed type conversion. Now,
Yeah.
if number is string, tell me how to convert a string to integer. Int of that number. Yes, that's why I'm writing int of that number. So whatever I'm entering from keyboard, let's say 5, which is a string, that will be converted to integer. And then that will be stored in a variable called exp, which will hold that value, whichever I have entered.
Okay, so whenever we input any number, it is stored in the form of string, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Understood. One final doubt.
Yeah, just 1 second. Let me tell Sridhar. Sridhar, I already shared it in the link. For everyone who joined today newly, please check the chart window. So I have shared 2 links. One is session 1 link and one is session. Oh, I have shared only to organizers. Sorry. Let me copy this. Is it whom I shared to everyone? Yeah. So this first one is for Anaconda. Yeah, this first one is for Anaconda installation, and the second one is Jupyter tutorial. Right?
Yeah.
Got it right in the chat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So the last question which I had is initially we were assigning numbers to the variable like var1 is equal to 7. Then as soon as we put type bracket var1, it used to throw as integer the type of the variable, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. After that, you wrote as VAR2 is equal to float 7.7. What does that mean? I mean,
I converted it to float. So what I will suggest you, Avinash, so you need
yeah.
to go through some basic concept about other programming language. I will give you some more keywords. Otherwise, it will be like we are in a very initial stage. When we go to little complicated topics, maybe NumPy, Pandas, I doubt you may understand because you are from very non-technical background. So I will give you some keywords. Please go through that first. What is a variable you need to understand? What is a function you need to understand, right? And what is, you just go through some YouTube links to understand. Don't worry about the syntax. Syntax anyway you will understand here, but the concept is clarified because this is not here everywhere. Whenever you wherever you are taking the course, these are
Yeah.
these are silly things, right? So people will kind of speedily they will cover and then they will go to the next topic. So but I can understand your background, you're completely non-technical, so I will suggest you to go through concept at least. Like what is a variable, what is a function, what is if loop, what is an else loop, while loop, and for loop. Can you do this today? So
Okay.
your is the syntax help you, right, to understand the concept you need to go through. So what is a
Okay.
variable?
Function, if loop, while loop, and for loop.
Yes. Yes. And then what is a function, right? Variable. It's not in Python. It's in every language. You name it Julia, you name it R, you name it Python, you name it Scala, you name it Java, C++, C. Every language has certain basic concepts. So what is a variable? What is a function? What is loops? In the sense three loop. What is if and else? What is for loop? And what is while loop? So if you can go through these 5 keywords, tomorrow's class, it will be easy for you to understand.
Okay. Okay. I'll go through. Not an issue. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Tomorrow
everyone.
we have at 8 o'clock, no?
8 o'clock, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.